Former Foreign Minister Kevin Rudd has returned from the United States and declared he will be a candidate in Monday's Labor leadership ballot. And he took aim at the weakest spot in the Prime Minister's armour, saying Julia Gillard didn't have the trust and confidence of the Australian people. He's called on the masses to petition the 103 members of caucus to reinstate him in the top job. Shortly, I'll speak to Regional Development Minister Simon Crean, but first, political editor Heather Hewitt.
When are you expecting to make your announcement this afternoon?
It was an excruciatingly slow build-up. 2 days after his resignation as Foreign Minister in Washington DC and 7 hours after landing home in Australia early this morning, the teasing was finally done with and Kevin Rudd made this announcement.
Rightly or wrongly, Julia has lost the trust of the Australian people, and starting on Monday, I want to start restoring that trust. That's why I've decided to contest the leadership of the Australian Labor Party at the ballot in the caucus of the Australian Labor Party on Monday. I want to finish the job the Australian people elected me to do when I was elected by them to become Prime Minister.
This came as no surprise to anyone, nor did his rationale for standing, as he made this direct campaign pitch to caucus members, especially those in marginal seats.
I'm not prepared to stand idly by and see our great nation's future wasted by an Abbott-led government. So let me be clear. If we don't change, the Labor Party is going to end up in opposition. We will all end up on the backbench, not just one, and the opposition backbench at that. That's the cold, hard, stark reality that we face.
Within an hour of the Rudd News conference in Brisbane, the Prime Minister Julia Gillard came out fighting in Melbourne. The contest was now officially on.
Talk is easy, getting things done is harder, and I am the person who gets things done. Of course, politics is a contest, and I am very confident that at the next election, Labor can prevail over Tony Abbott and that I, as Prime Minister, can lead Labor to a victory.
Today, as a party, we also face serious challenges. And if we're honest to ourselves, all indications are that we're heading for the rocks at the next election.
This isn't celebrity Big Brother. It is about working out who can lead the nation, who has got the ability to get things done. That is the main question and the main choice.
Next Monday will be a tough ballot, a tough contest. Really tough when you're up against the combined forces of the combined factions of the Labor Party. And theirs can be a pretty ruthless operation. Many of you have asked this morning what I would do if I did not succeed on Monday. I would go to the backbench and I would not challenge Julia a second time.
But does anyone in the party really believe that? The numbers are certainly not going Kevin Rudd's way for the Monday ballot, but his backers might hope he'll at least get something respectable enough to enable another go. The Gillard camp is anxious to limit Kevin Rudd's support to the 20s range out of a caucus of 103 to prevent any chance of a comeback, but they're not there yet.
In terms of minimum or maximum outcomes, in terms of a vote next Monday, mate, I've never been in that business in the past and I don't intend to get into it now.
I understand that some observers and some insiders have been saying, well, this might be a bit like Keating versus Hawke, not just one challenge but two. I think Graham Richardson famously said that the challenger needed to be getting towards 40% of the vote in order to have a serious platform for a second go. Now, I trust the Labor caucus. It won't come to these issues of first and second goes.
Are you saying that if he doesn't get 40 votes, he's got to give up, if you follow the Keating-Hawke precedent?
What I'm saying is that was the precedent set then. For myself, what I think is that whoever wins, then the matter is at an end.
But what's tormenting the party, racked by this week's outpouring of public recriminations, is will Monday really be the end of it, even though Kevin Rudd says he won't challenge again? As he and Julia Gillard today disputed who could be trusted, the Prime Minister continued to claim a relentless campaign of destabilisation against her, including briefings to journalists.
Kevin Rudd spoke about trust today but did not deny when challenged, that he has spent time whilst I have been Prime Minister and he has been Foreign Minister behind closed doors in secret conversations with people undermining the government. Kevin Rudd asked people to consider questions of trust. Well, there's a question of trust right there.
On the question of discussions with journalists, can I just say this? You all know, each and every one of you here, that every Member of Parliament and Cabinet Ministers talks to you on a regular or irregular basis. You know that. And so I am no different. But on the key question of support for the government and support for the Prime Minister, I have maintained that throughout.
Do you believe that he'll only challenge Rudd?
Well, only Mr Rudd can answer that question for you.
And I'm a bit tired and fed up of this general frame which says that if the government has a problem and Prime Minister Gillard's leadership has a problem, ipso facto it's because of me.
But as government ministers today continue to tell tales of Kevin Rudd's alleged chaotic work patterns, at least 2 declared they could never work under him in the ministry again.
It seems pretty clear to me then that there's no way you would be able to work with Kevin Rudd again as leader now that you've, spoken so openly.
Look, I doubt I would be asked, but I absolutely wouldn't accept if I was.
So you won't serve in his cabinet if he wins on Monday?
I don't believe he'll win on Monday. I don't believe I'll be a member of his team.
I don't see any of them as weak people, as people who fail to assert themselves, people who are anyway, wallflowers. Where were they? Why didn't they speak up earlier?
The claims and counterclaims will continue all weekend. The Rudd camp alleges pre-selections are being threatened. The Gillard camp strongly denies this. And so it goes on. Friendships and even family relationships are being tested. Take Senator Laurie Ferguson and his brother and Minister Martin Ferguson, both on different sides.
Oh, we live in different cities. No, look, Martin's got a different view on this and he's got grounds for that. I just happen to be very strongly of the view that Julia's the best option for this party.
Any tensions between you two?
Oh, there's always tensions in families, isn't there?
There's certainly more than the usual amount in the ALP right now, and it could take years to recover.